I just want to start this video off by saying big shout outs. Congratulations to the Honkai Star Rail community because we did that. You know, I just can we just for a moment, right? Because I don't want to say no names, but they don't. Y'all seen the memes. Henshin a go baby. What's good, guys? Yoku here. And damn, we got a lot. I woke up a little later. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. Y'all know that, but I did just get through watching the entirety of the 1.6 live stream. I even watched it back like 1.5 times. Not the speed. I mean that I watched it like instead of twice, I watched it 1.5 times. You feel me? I got a lot of notes that I want to go through. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about will be in their own video. So I'm going to try and consolidate this as best as possible to a lot of my opinions, how I feel, what my predictions are, what I was right about, things like that. And then I will put everything else, which off the top of my head, Xeuyi gets her own video. Ruan Mei 166% gets her own video. She gets multiple videos, actually. She gets videos with other people. Like, y'all don't understand. I speculated about Ruan Mei, and I've been you guys see you saw the video. I was speculating about Ruan Mei, and I'm like, yo, if this happens, boom. And then they were like, oh, by the way, oh wait, my bad, Ruan Mei voice. I do something with increasing the weakness break efficiency of my entire team. And then she's moaning on the mic. Oh my gosh, bro, mommy Dami, please. I thought it was just Kafka. But it's not. Ruan Mei might take it from me. Anyhow, so obviously I'm gonna start off with Ruan Mei. That's baby girl. She is the Ice Harmony character. I love her. I really do. I am a huge fan of law breaking mechanics. Silverwolf, for one, Bronya, that's number 2, and now we have Ruan Mei. Obviously, there's Zila and some other characters like Xeuyi who kind of disobey the laws or manipulate it. But every time I make a video and I talk about this thing, I need to let you guys know any single character that manipulates, breaks, or otherwise changes, disobeys, disrupts the laws, the natural laws of the game, the mechanics. I'm gonna say broken, but they're not really broken, okay? Now, in Ruan Mei's case, Ruan Mei is teetering on the cusp of being broken, and that's not a bad thing. I had a huge 2-hour argument with Rihu about this yesterday because we were just speculating back and forth, and the argument itself wasn't about Ruan Mei, but I will say Rihu thinks Ruan Mei is overtuned, which rightfully so. Some things I clearly cannot discuss with you guys. He thinks she's overtuned in this current state as of right now. I think she's perfectly fine. I think she introduces the new generation of characters, and I think with all of this, the pure fiction, actually I have all these notes here. Pure fiction, we have the new mode, which I'm hoping is permanent. What's it called? Virtual Scentware is what it's called. I'm hoping that turns into a permanent mode and not just a temporary mode. We also have the new simulated universe, Golden Gears. There's a lot of things that they are clearly implementing. Even during the live stream, Albert as well as Screwlum, they constantly used the same type of words or the same collection of words. Challenging, more rewards for the player, a better use of your time, more valuable use of your time for the challenge. Being able to build your characters and then having a use, being able to test the new builds that you've done, and then being able to try different things. So we implemented some of these things with new buffs or different ways that you can fuse these things, and I'll get into that in the rest of the video. But point being is that with all of this coming into the game, I think having a character like Ruan Mei perfectly fine because she's introducing the next generation of characters before we get to 2.0. I already have my thoughts and think pieces on characters coming into 2.0, especially Raiden or Acheron, and I will talk about that briefly towards the end of the video. As of right now, going over everything for Ruan Mei. Ruan Mei is her skill is going to basically increase the weakness break efficiency of all the allies, which is amazing. And so like if you don't know what that means, because some people don't understand that break effect and then break efficiency are 2 different things. I don't know why my camera does that, bro. I put my hands up and then my camera's like, oh yeah, you want to blur? I don't want to blur, bro. I really don't. Damn. Break efficiency is something that you might have been familiar with or saw in Simulated Universe. Usually the nihility path, if I'm not mistaken, is what it's on, and it'll say like increases break efficiency to 50% or by 50%, something like that. What that does is, let's say that your normal break attack or your normal attack does 30 units of break damage. What breakness efficiency will do is if you increase that by 30%, that's half of 30, that's 15. That'll turn your break effect or your break efficiency, my bad, into 45% of whatever that damage would have been, or 45 units if we're keeping it on a very static level, a very static numerical term that we can use here. So 30 and the 45. That's what that does. Ruan Mei increases the break efficiency of all your characters. So a character like Silverwolf, crack. A character like Xeuyi, mega crack. Can't wait to talk about her. Any character that is Sushang, cracked. Luca, cracked. Guanifin, break Guanifin, cracked. Any character that focuses on break effect or has the ability to enhance their break effect, cracked. Silverwolf is a very special case because her break units are already significantly higher than some of the other characters, as well as Sushang. Those two characters off the top of my head are characters that have some insane break units compared to the rest of the cast. So having that increased by any amount is going to be directly related to them essentially one-shotting enemies. What I mean by one-shot is that Sushang, there's a certain combo, which I believe is skill ult skill for Sushang, that takes away somewhere around like 70%, 50 to 70% of an elite boss's toughness meter. If it's a single target boss or like one of the medium bosses, she just wipes out their toughness meter in one combo or half the combo. Increasing that essentially turns her into a toughness meter depleting monster, because now she can just do that to any boss. I love it. Ruan Mei is the law mechanic, the breaking, another, right? Like she destroys the physical laws of the game, the mechanics of break effect. She abuses it or manipulates it in a way that favors not only her. That would have been understandable for her to benefit that. She does it for the entire team, which is crazy to think about because there's so much about break effect that is still to this day being undervalued. And I know it's not everyone, but there's enough of you, the vocal minority, there's enough of you who just don't understand the value of how strong break effect actually is. The ability to not let your opponent, your enemy in any strategy game, the ability to remove your opponent's access to fighting back, broken, powerful. If you guys have played turn-based games, we were talking about this last night on stream because we were referencing Yu-Gi-Oh a lot. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, even Digimon. If a lot of you like Digimon Roll 3 music, I know, bro. So when you're playing Digimon, any of these turn-based things, even in chess, if I remove or gatekeep the access that you would have to physically attack me or even stop me to defend yourself, it's donezo. GG's, bro. Break effect is another means of access to doing that. Ruan Mei, not only does she increase the weakness break efficiency, but she also, I believe it's her ultimate, creates a field. The ultimate creates a field that gives you all type penetration for everybody. She's disgusting already. Then she gives all the enemies an ice mark, and when they are hit with this mark after their weakness broken, the mark then delays, listen to what I say here, it delays their recovery of being weakness broken. That might sound a little confusing, so the game plays in the background right now, and I'll probably have it on a loop. Normally what happens is when you weakness break an enemy, then it's their turn, their toughness meter comes back, they recover, and then if they're not a certain weakness broken, so in this case frozen, they can go again. Ruan Mei delays that action from happening. So what actually happens when they have the mark and they've been hit is that they get their turn like normal, and then the trigger activates, and then it says, you know what? I don't want you to have your turn anymore. It hits them for damage and they never get their toughness meter back. And that delays the enemy by however much break effect is going to apply to that formula. Don't know yet. I'll know it when I get the character. So just think piecing this, adding someone like Silverwolf or Xeuyi, the quantum element, the freeze of a character, right? Freezing a character, quantum super delays a character. And then you add entanglement on top of that, the boom, the big pop. All of these things apply to just the theory and concept of what could happen with Ruan Mei that I know a lot of the, I'm just gonna say it, the leakers, a lot of the leakers don't actually look for this information or test this type of stuff. They just do things and then show you like, oh yeah, look what they can do. No. Main point being is that you get severely delayed after having this ice mark, and then your turn comes up, you don't get your turn again. That means, guess what? Me, the aggressor, gets to go again without having to do any other speed manipulation tactics or turns. I don't have to advance forward. I just follow the natural order of the turn cycle. Damn, it's your turn, but you didn't get your turn. It's my turn again. GG's, bro. Wow. Real big fan of this. Her technique, I didn't even pay attention to what her talent was. That's the worst. I don't think they mentioned her talent. Correct me if I'm wrong. I wrote all the notes, but I didn't hear them talk about Ruan Mei's talent. So I don't know. And I don't want to like mislead you guys, right? But I'm so excited. I really just don't remember. If they talked about her talent, please in the comments let somebody know, because I genuinely don't remember if they talked about it on stream or not. So I'm not gonna mention what her talent is. because I don't remember if they talked about it. The technique, stupid strong, especially in Simulated Universe. Technique basically triggers the effect of her skills at the start of the turn, and then it obliterates, this is in Simulated Universe specifically, obliterates the toughness meter by ignoring all weakness types. Just straight up ignores it completely. And I just, boy, now I can talk about Xeuyi because they go neck and neck right there. Boom, boom, peanut butter and jelly right now. Xeuyi, monstrous character, dog. The single target damage and the adjacent attack from the skill, we don't know if it's going to be like adjacent 20% extra or like 20% less, whatever. But point being is that destruction character, quantum. I just got through talking to you guys about the weakness break efficiency and then increasing break effect and things like that. Boom, you add Xeuyi into the mix. Now you have your Harmony, who's boosting everybody, by the way, not just one character. She's boosting the entire freaking team. And then you have Xeuyi, who now we can get into hybrid builds. It's something that I talked about a little bit ago, like a long time ago with Sushong in particular. Hybrid builds mean you are hard focusing two things. So in Xeuyi's case, because she's doing so many attacks, definitely focusing on having as much attack as possible. A safe bet is probably around 2,500, 2,700. A lot of crit rate, a lot of crit damage, and then high ass break effect. How you're gonna do that, I have no idea. Very hard, I know. And getting speed on top of that, I'm asking for the perfect character. Trust me, I know. But the reason I say this is because her attacks are still attacks. Big dick damage. But then her thing, the thing that she does is that she destroys toughness meters, right? So for everybody that's beating down the toughness meter on the enemy, she gets stacks from her talent. She gets stacks so that they turn into a follow-up attack. Great for Topaz, I know. And then that does a significant amount of damage, which that damage is more than likely going to be applied to by her break effect, not her actual attack. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But even still, being quantum, you want some break effect in there because she's doing so many attacks. Her follow-up is happening. She has a higher break efficiency than some of the other characters. She is destroying toughness meters. And then I think it's her ultimate, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. Yeah, her ultimate completely ignores whatever type they have. Whatever type they have, she has all type weakness ignoring. Doesn't matter. You could be ice. I'm gonna hit you with this quantum break and it's gone. Whatever toughness meter you had, gone. The more toughness they have, the more damage he does. It has to directly correlate to break effect. I can't fathom what else it could correlate to besides break effect. But whatever it is, fire. I love it. Xeuyi. Yes, that's the one, bro. I'm telling you guys, like I might be a Xeuyi man. I'm trying to E6 her. I don't need it, but I want it. Last of the characters we could talk about is Dr. Ratio. Boy, we got Dr. Ratio for free. Like, I didn't even expect that. That was a huge shock to my system. Dr. Ratio being free, and then he calls in. He's like, yo, Albert, I heard that you were talking about rewards. Those rewards are ass. And me, Veritas Ratio, I don't play with having ass products. So everybody that plays Star Rail that gets enough to the mail system in the game, you unlock the mail system, you all receive a Dr. Ratio. It was literally Oprah. You get Dr. Ratio. You get Dr. Ratio. Everybody gets Dr. Ratio. Like, that's how it was, dude. I just... Big shout outs, big kudos, bro, because that was crazy to even see happen. I didn't even watch it live. I watched it on my own and I was still shocked. I saw all the memes. There's a meme on Twitter of like Dr. Ratio doing his ultimate, but then the enemy is Genshin Impact. It's Paimon's face. And then he throws the chalk. The chalk is 1,600 Primo Gems. And then he does his ultimate L plus ratio, right? And the giant fucking pillar, the stone pillar drops down, but the stone pillar is literally the everyone gets Dr. Ratio for free from the stream. It's that image and it just slams on the enemy, and then Dr. Ratio turns around, he throws his little coat and he's like, and I'm like, bro, that's crazy. Y'all work so fast. The Genshin Impact community is being severely memed on right now, and it's not even their fault. That's the worst part about it. It's not y'all's fault. You guys didn't necessarily do anything wrong, besides like some of y'all are crazy fiends for the game and you will die hard cape for it. But it is the Genshin team's fault for not treating y'all correctly, not giving y'all proper rewards. I was right there with you. Year 1, year 2, I was bitching about it the whole time. Bro, what are these anniversary rewards? 110 pull, no characters, no new this, no free this. It was ridiculous. But like Honkai Star Rail, just like, yo, everybody gets Dr. Ratio for free. I blown back. Now, talking about Dr. Ratio. very simple, straightforward character. I feel like Dr. Ratio is one of those characters, especially with him being given for free, they couldn't overtune him. Dr. Ratio's kit looks like what I would consider Generation 1. So anything pre-Ruan Mei, I feel like Dr. Ratio falls right in that category. One of those kind of like, he's probably going to be super strong. He's a hunt character. He might have some access to being fast. It didn't look like he had any type of advancing forward or delaying the enemy, or I know he has reduced speed. I can see that, but it didn't look like he had anything that would actually help him get more turns as a hunt character without the use of another character, so Bronya or someone else giving him any kind of speed boost. His talent has the chance to trigger a follow-up attack after using a skill, which is good for ergo Topaz. It's gonna have the more debuffs will increase the chances for this to happen. So if you stack on a bunch of debuffs, and obviously there's gonna be a limit. What I mean by limit is that, like, let's say 1 debuff increases the chance of this happening by 33%. 2 makes that 66%, 3 makes that 99.9%, and then obviously 4 would make that over 100%. So something along those lines is more than likely what's going to happen, so that you know exactly, I need this many debuffs on the enemy at all times, so I'm guaranteed follow-up attacks no matter what. Then that would turn into a monstrous combo between him and Topaz. Really good. His domain expansion, I mean his technique, is a domain expansion that reduces the speed of all enemies who get caught in the field. Cool beans. Now, something to pay attention to is that Dr. Ratio's skill itself actually applies an effect resistance down, right? A reduction of effect resistance, if I'm not mistaken, onto the enemy. So that counts as 1 debuff. His ultimate is going to apply or inflict Wise Man's Folly, which will count as a 2nd debuff, if I'm not mistaken. So he's already going to be able to give himself 2 debuffs as it is, but Wise Man's Folly in particular has the extra effect of that whenever an ally attacks this target, Ratio is going to launch his follow-up attack immediately. Doesn't matter how many debuffs are on enemy. So that's going to be really good in order to maximize how often or how many times Dr. Ratio can attack. To wrap it up with their banners, I think Ratio's banner is by far top 3 worst, like bottom 3. Sushong is a great character, don't get me wrong. Natasha, if you're new, this is good. I will admit that. If you're a new player, Natasha's good. She's going to carry you, getting that E6 or as close to E6 as possible. Awesome. Natasha could be a great character for you. Hook, skip it. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think Hook's a great character. She's just okay. And even then, she's clunky. She's a very clunky character in my opinion. I know there's some Hook mains out there. I'm just not one of them. Sushong. I love Sushong. I think Sushong is actually one of the better characters on Ratio's banner. Oh, forgot to mention, by the way, I was right. Kafka is getting her rerun with Dr. Ratio. So the video that I mentioned yesterday, or I had yesterday, where I spoke to you guys about what's going on with Kafka and Ruan Mei and then Black Swan, and like who you should save up for, like what your plan should be depending on who you're going for. I was right. So now you guys are seriously in a sticky situation. Yeah, we're getting Dr. Ratio for free, but if you're a DOT main, if you're a Kafka main, you need, and when I say need, I stretch this, I'm stressing this very hard. You don't physically need Ruan Mei for a Kafka team. If you want the strongest Kafka team possible, you need Ruan Mei. That's the best way that I could put it. If you want to be able to build the strongest Kafka or DOT team possible, you will need to pick up Ruan Mei. You will need to pick up Kafka, and then you will need to get Black Swan. In terms of Ruan Mei's banner is actually really nice. We're getting Xeuyi, which is great. I love that because I can pull as many Ruan Meis as I accidentally need while I'm fishing for Xueyis. And since Dr. Ratio is free, I don't really have to worry about anything like that. Dr. Ratio's patch is a recovery patch. You could literally just, I'm burning everything on Ruan Mei, and then Dr. Ratio, I'm saving it all up. And then whenever something else comes out after that, I'll pull. That's probably gonna be like Black Swan or something, right? Cool. March 7th is gonna be a great character for a lot of the free-to-plays, especially with, or not, I won't say just free-to-plays, newer players. March 7th will be great for newer players because you can't control getting Japar. You don't have access to Fuxuan right now. You don't have access to Locha, and you probably didn't pull a Huohuo, but if you did, then you're chilling, but you would still want like a secondary kind of option. It's 50-50, you know, but March 7th's not bad. And then Ting Yun, of course, everyone glorifies Ting Yun. That is currently our, after Ruan Mei comes out, Ting Yun's gonna get bumped down. Not that she's less valuable. What I mean by that is just the tier list video is coming out, guys. If you're on stream last night, you know what I'm talking about. I explained it thoroughly for like 10 minutes solid. Ruan Mei and Bronya at the top. Ting Yun right beneath them. That's it. It does not mean Ting Yun is bad now. It doesn't mean she's ass all of a sudden and she's not worth it. No, dude, it just means that Bronya and Ruan Mei are that damn good. So they go towards the top. But overall, this banner is really good. And then this banner, so with Xeuyi and with Ruan Mei, you actually have Blade as the rerun. So if any of you were looking for Blade to pick up Blade, you have Jing Liu and you're trying to like complete the Jing Liu Blade core, then this would be a great time for you to grab Blade, grab Xeuyi, grab Ting Yun on your team, and then call it a day. But if not, then you know what you want to do. Both banners are valued in their own way, but Dr. Ratio being free just kind of answers a lot of people's like issue. The last little bit of the stream that I had some opinions on was the like the little extra bits, right? The extra bits in the story. Swarm King being able to multiply himself with every attack. That's actually really cool. I like this a lot. Not that he can multiply himself because that's going to get annoying, but I like the implications that they're doing with this new Swarm King beetle boss. And so what I mean by this is that they're putting a heavy focus on understanding when and how to apply weakness break or using break effect. I think that's a genius move, once again, because break effect is just something that so many players are undervaluing, whether they don't understand it, they don't care for it, they don't want to build for it, anything. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's just a very undervalued thing right now. Most players looking for attack, crit, and speed and calling it a day. But break effect is just as strong, or can be just as strong. In fact, just as valuable. Like when you're building these teams, and now the game is getting to a point where I think we do need, we need to like alter how we look at characters. I've already been looking at characters this way, but we definitely need to start looking at characters in terms of like, they're not just damage. They have to do something like that. Okay, like Himiko. Himiko is like, oh yeah, man, she got the highest base second again or whatever. Oh, but she sucks at dealing damage. Like she's bad at AoE, whatever. But her break effect could be phenomenal, right? Like her break effect potential could be phenomenal. You could do something like that. Or Xeuyi, you can build a break effect. Sushan, you could build a break effect. Luca, obviously break effect. Things like that. Sampo, you could build break effect. So there's a lot of things that we can start looking at now, especially now with Ruan Mei coming into the game, that will lead us towards that direction. And that's another big reason why I think Ruan Mei is what she is and how she's going to impact the meta. Blah, 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 blah. I'll talk about that in like 2 or 3 other videos. It's not, wait for it. The new simulated universe, Golden Gears. I think this is a 3rd simulated universe. Mode actually looks insanely fun. I love it. And then combining paths, like I think the Golden Gears had the 1 and the 2 and the 3, and then you add everything, right? Like the little gear system with the dice. Or was that, no, that definitely wasn't Virtual Scentware. That had to be Golden Gears for the simulated universe. Listen, bro, I called it. This is definitely a sign that they are working on this dual path combination system for a character or a relic set. Anything that happens in simulated universe that's substantial, like it's worth pointing out, has turned into a character or it's turned into a relic set. It has happened already, or it's being worked on. We know of characters coming out that have these different simulation universe buffs and whatnot. Kafka was a great example of that. Somebody being able to manipulate the damage over time and then abuse it, trigger it, detonate it on their own when they want to, things like that. I like what they're doing. The reason I'm bringing this up though is because you guys remember what I said in one of my previous videos where I spoke about Acheron, aka Raiden, and I said that I had a theory. I said my theory about Raiden was that either Acheron was going to be one of 2 Raidens, because Raiden has multiple models, but in Genshin Impact in particular, they're twins. With that in mind, they either split the character, so there's one path for one character, one path for the other character, or it's a combined character, right? The character has the ability to like swap between paths. They have a dual path system coming out, whatever. Simulated universe having access to this like as an experiment, I feel like they're using this to test out how this would function in the actual game, and then like put that in the Raiden or put that in a character. That's my theory. That's how I feel about that. I would love if that happens. It is what it is. Anyhow, Virtual Scentware looks awesome. Double rewards are gonna look sick. We have Pure Fiction. Pure Fiction looks cool. It looks like the mode that we had for the event before. I like this mode. It's nice. And we'll see 11 and 12 finally. We're not gonna stop at 12. 12 can't be the last number. We're gonna get more than 12. It's just gonna keep going up and up and up. I like it a lot. The MOC auto clear up to stage 7, super wonderful. I love that. The new store for MOC, which I hope that this is gonna unlock character resources. That's my biggest thing. I know they mentioned self-modeling resin, which is a huge thing for us when we're hunting for certain relic pieces, because we don't want to just keep hunting for like a crit damage body piece on this stat or this relic that we really don't want to farm. Modeling resins are gonna be really good. And then last but not least would be character resources, relic experience, things like that. I did see some of the stuff. I think they're changing something, or like we can make it so that we don't have, when we do whatever, maybe that's 2.0, the notes for 2.0, instead of making them lost golden fragments or relic remains, you can turn them into the other thing. So now you get both. That'll be awesome. Lastly was the Pinacone version 2.0 character reveals. I didn't think I was gonna be in a Sam like that, like Adventuring. Adventuring looks like Child. That's my boy. Sam had a really cool design. There was someone else that had like a goat head. I didn't catch the name, but they had like a goat head and they were on fire. And I was like, that's a badass design. Like now we're getting into really cool designs of characters. I want to see that happen for everybody. That'd be super cool. But that's it. I don't know how I made this video 20 something minutes to almost 30 minutes long. I had a lot to talk about, guys. I really had a lot to talk about. I had a lot to get off my chest. This was a great live stream. This is going to be a great update. And this is basically 1.6, even though I know 2.0 is right after that. 1.6 is the start of the second generation. Our second generation of Honkai Star Rail actually starts in 1.6. This is going to be a phenomenal update. I can't wait. I'm super excited. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below if you are excited as well. I might be this energetic because I had caffeine this morning. That's crazy how impactful. Anyway, I'm probably streaming. Come through. I'm actually streaming this time. if I say it in the video and I make it through, I'm actually streaming this time. But if you don't see me talk about streaming, I'm not streaming. Smell you later.